Hello, Miami. This is 305 Sports Now, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will, and today we are covering a couple of 2024 prospects for the Miami Hurricanes that a lot of people just aren't talking about. And the reason why I'm doing this is because these guys are absolute studs, okay? And I just want to give them a little bit of airplay, so we can get a little bit familiar with them as the recruiting process starts to heat up over the summer and then over the fall season and into winter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm talking about two guys today, okay? One local and one out of state. The first one I want to go over is Dylan Raiola, and the second one I'm going to go over is LaWayne McCoy. Okay. Now, the first thing about Dylan Raiola that I want everyone to understand is that he is the number one slated college football player in the country for the class of 2024. He is the number one quarterback. He hails out of Phoenix, Arizona, goes to Pinnacle High School, and the kid is just a flat out beast. If you look at his huddle, in particular, he kind of reminds me a little bit of a young Pat Mahomes. Now, the reason why I say that is because the kid could throw across his body. I saw him throw across his body and zip the ball to the receiver rather easily. The kid has good pocket awareness. He could run right as well. He could play at shotgun. He's been scouted as being able to play at shotgun and also being under center, which is very rare in a spread oriented system, both at the high school level and at the collegiate level that we've been seeing. Could make any throw, right? Any throw, whether it's a deep ball, post patterns, a short pass, intermediate routes, whatever you need the kid to do, he can zip it with touch. He can put it with touch, or he can zip it as well. He can hit the deep ball with enough air where the receivers could get it, all right, as well. So he's basically a jack of all trades when it comes to quarterbacks and a master of all, according to what scouts have said, as far as him being, such a top tier quarterback. Now he's been receiving offers from everyone, all right, not just the Miami Hurricanes. Miami Hurricanes have offered him, but he's received offers, from Nebraska. He's received offers from USC. He's received offers from Florida State, as well. So this is a highly coveted kid, all right. But let me just read the stats and I'll go over the crystal balls in particular and why I think Miami should continue his pursuit, all right, as well. Okay, so first things foremost, he did have a better sophomore year than he did his junior year. Okay, and I expect him to have a very, very promising and explosive senior year because it's 3 years in the system, and also again, he wants to maintain that number one ranking as a top recruit in the country. But I'll go over sophomore stats first. His sophomore year, he had 228 receptions on 350 dropbacks. Okay, he had over 3,341 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. His junior year, he had 278 dropbacks, okay, 178 receptions, 2,435 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Now, I don't follow Arizona football, but I'm just assuming that they ran the ball more this year than they did last year. That could, or whatever the case may be. I'm not really sure. If anybody in the comment section knows why, feel free to chime in. I'm perfectly okay, to receive information of that sort. But that's sometimes that is the case. Usually in many cases, you get a bit more of the running game being utilized. That's why quarterbacks numbers tend to drop a bit. But a very good sophomore year, a very solid sophomore year, right? 32 touchdowns is nothing to sneeze at. Not even 22 touchdowns. His touchdowns to interception ratio is pretty freaking high. All right. So I just want to say the least. He's also 6'3", 220 pounds. He's already, in terms of his size and in terms of his height, college football ready. And I'm a big fan of tall quarterbacks personally because they can see over the offensive line. So it makes it easier for them to do the reads, right? They don't necessarily have to be rolled out all the time, just so they can see, what's going on in front of them. Okay. So I like this kid, in particular. I know the Luke Mogas are people that have been mentioned. I know Aaron Noland out of Langston Hughes High has been mentioned. Okay, and Aaron Noland would be a great get for the Kings. Don't get me wrong, but you could also get Dylan Raiola. That'd be fantastic, right? Now, normally two quarterbacks, their top tier quarterbacks, don't like to go together within the same class. It's very rare, especially these days. But what the heck, give it a shot. All right. Now the thing about this is that you can make the question like, well, right now, according to 247 Sports, it's a battle between USC and Nebraska. But I still feel that if Miami has a very efficient offense this year that makes the quarterback look good and makes the receivers look great as well, with a solid running game, especially with the line that we have, why wouldn't a guy like Dylan Raiola not want to come to the University of Miami? Okay. It wouldn't be the first time Miami has gone to the West Coast or outside the state of Florida, to get their best quarterbacks. In fact, they've done that quite a bit. All right. Like for example, Jim Kelly was from Pittsburgh. Okay. Vinny Testaverde was from New York. Ken Dorsey, was from California. Steve Walsh was from Minnesota. Tyler Van Dyke's from Connecticut. All right. So much of our star quarterbacks have not even been from the state of Florida. They've been out of the state. Jake Garcia, if you want to get technical, Jake Garcia is from California. He just transferred over to Georgia. All right. And then, agreed to be a Cane, and now he's over in Missouri. So the bottom line is that why not just go after the kid? This is a kid that could change your program, right? This is a kid that could take you to the promised land, right? As well. If he is what he's hyped up to be, you are going to have a very solid football player for at least the next 3 years. At least the next 3 years. No disrespect, to anybody else outside of Tyler Van Dyke in our roster. Corey Brown could end up becoming a solid quarterback. Emory Williams could as well. We don't know. Okay, it could be the next guy right after TVD. Decides to declare for the NFL draft this year. But the bottom line is you also have to stack quarterbacks. Okay, it's very good. You have a next man up mentality, and another thing too, competition makes everyone better. And a kid like this coming in could basically make the quarterback room very competitive, and everybody watch for the jobs, which makes them better. All right, as players. So I think that bringing a guy like Dylan Raiola in, if you can get him, if you can get him to flip, not flip yet, but if you get the upset and him come to Miami and not USC, the sky's the limit. All right, for the Miami Hurricanes. Now keep this in mind. All right, keep this in mind. To get these kind of quarterbacks and these kind of players, including at the wide receiver position, Miami's offense has got to take leaps and bounds, has to do a complete 180 than what it had last season. Shannon Dawson's offense has got to produce, all right? The wide receivers have to look good, right? The running backs have to look good, and you have basically a monstrous offensive line with these two young bulls in Maui Goa, right, and Pancake Honcho that could really, really, really set the stage for what could be a very dominant team in the ACC. So if you want Dylan Raiola, Miami has got to be prolific on offense. Okay, the Canes have got to dominate. All right, it's got to be a complete 180 from what we had last year with whatever his Josh Gaddis was running. All right, we've got the talent. All right, coming in all right, as freshmen. We have the veteran quarterback that's proven he could do it, especially in a system very similar to what Dawson is bringing to the table. All right, and now we have the lineman that on paper could be the best in the country, right? Or potentially be the best in the country, okay? Including those that we brought in from the transfer portal. So again, Miami's offense has got to take leaps and bounds above and beyond what we have with Josh Gaddis to get the Dylan Raiolas of the world, to get the JoJo Traders at receiver, to get the Jeremiah Smith as receivers, okay? Okay, now going over to the receiver side as well, I want to go over a kid that's not being talked about much in particular, but he has an offer from the University of Miami, including other schools as well. And I think if we could get this kid, you could literally have a three-headed monster at receiver from the 2024 class. A wide receiver class in 2023 that was basically no guys like that are edge receivers, right? Those wideouts that are on the edges. We didn't get any of those guys. We got the slot guys, but not the edge guys. We could potentially have up to 2 to 3 guys, that could fit that mold. The next guy I'm going to talk about is a gentleman by the name of LaWayne McCoy. LaWayne McCoy is listed as an athlete according to 247 Sports, but he played a lot of wide receiver last year for Central High. All right, a two-way athlete. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Ian Coleman for introducing me to LaWayne McCoy. LaWayne McCoy is a flat-out beast. Okay, like I said, he's an athlete. Last year for the Rockets, all right, for the Central High Rockets, he had 20 catches for 491 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay, he averaged about 24 yards per catch though. 24 yards per catch. Okay, that means this guy's getting open in space and he's beating his men. Okay, he's beating his defenders. So that's great. The year before, as a sophomore, he transferred from Avant-Garde over to Central. As a sophomore, he had an even better year, all right, especially as a two-way player. All right, for Avant-Garde, he had 21 catches 402 yards, but this time he got in the end zone 7 times, right? He's listed as a great two-way athlete. As a cornerback, for Avant-Garde, as a sophomore, recorded 25 tackles, 9 pass breakups, and 5 interceptions. He even had a very quintessential interception in the state championship game with Central. He was playing cornerback when he got a pick six in that game against IMG. So what I'm trying to say here is that LaWayne McCoy, okay, LaWayne McCoy is a guy, that Miami could really utilize. His senior year, again, is going to be very important, in terms of how he goes up in the rankings, as far as, his ranking goes amongst receivers and amongst high school football players in the country. Of what I've seen in this guy's video, if you guys have a chance, check out his huddle or just YouTube his name, all right, or Google or YouTube his name, all right, and you'll be very impressed. Great hands, great ball awareness, all right, as well. And he's able to get separation from his defender. And remember, Central plays in a very competitive environment, right? In a very competitive environment. So the fact that he's able to put up these numbers and put up these defensive numbers at Central as well, because he was also still listed as a solid defensive back for the Rockets as well. Okay, this is a good guy that Miami could get. So if they have too many receivers, in the receiver room, they could put him at corner, right? Miami could use another defensive back. Okay, so but I do think he might want to play wide receiver. All right, just to give you guys a bit of an understanding. But LaWayne McCoy, okay, LaWayne McCoy and Dylan Raiola are two guys that Miami has got to try to pick up for this 2024 cycle, this recruiting cycle, because I'm telling you, all right, all right, especially in the offensive side of the ball, Miami could really raise hell in particular and cause a lot of damage if they can get the talent in here. And with the structure that Dawson's bringing in, Miami could be virtual unbeatable in the next couple of years. Okay, offensively and defensively speaking as well. All right, guys, that's it for me. If you like what you heard, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. God bless. Go Canes. Bye bye.